Hello, my name is Jamie Murphy and I'm a facilitator with the Parent Project. Our program teaches parents the skills that are needed to change unwanted adolescent behaviors. I facilitate classes in South Carolina and Georgia, and if you would like more information about the program, go to parentproject.com or call me at 803-257-4343. And here's a story about one of our families that have benefited from the program.
Jamie Murphy's class. Now I just wanted to speak with you tonight about an instance where I used food to motivate my son during a TEASPOT. Well, it was a Thursday evening several months ago, and my wife and I were discussing some chores around the house and realized we needed some help, and we decided it was time that our 11-year-old son pitch in and help around the house. So we informed him that he needed to get busy sweeping the floors and a couple other things, and that was at that time he proceeded to inform us that he was not wanting to do these duties, and which him and his mother began to have a discussion about it, and it began to elevate into an argument, and that's about the time I decided that was enough of that, because we do not argue, and I decided to step in. And it was at that moment in time that I informed my son David that there's a hierarchy to this household ordained by God himself, and we discussed how I was at the top of it and he was at the other end of it, and he needed to do what was requested of him. And it was at that moment he decided that he had done chores once earlier in the week and that he was done. So I decided to go along with that, and since we all had chores once a week and that we were done, I'd cooked that evening's dinner. I was done for the week and was no longer going to support his food for the rest of the week. And at that point he thought he was grown enough that he could handle this. I said, okay, well, tomorrow night you fix your dinner, I'll fix mine. So at that moment we put him in bed and there was no more arguing. I discussed with my wife, his mother, and we decided that on Friday evening I was going to cook a dinner for her and I, which consisted of a very nice steak from Fresh Market, about 2 inches thick, and some roasted asparagus and some homemade mashed potatoes, which was some of his favorites. And so Friday rolled around and he came home from school and I got home from work, and I decided really to get my point across that I was going to cook, instead of grilling the steak, I decided I was going to cook it on the stovetop just to aerate through the house so everyone could smell it and it would linger in the air. So when he finished playing outside, he comes walking in and sees that I'm cooking a steak and asks, "Are we having steak for dinner tonight?" To which I responded to him. I said, "Yes, son, we're having steak." And he responded, "We're having steak, we're having steak." So both of us got excited and started jumping around, and he went on, and dinner time came. I called him for dinner. Wife and I sat down, we had our steak. He ran over to the kitchen stove and come running back to us, looking at us like something was wrong, and I asked him, "You okay?" "I thought we were having steak." I said, your mother and I are having steak. You and I aren't. Remember, you're man enough, we're doing our chores once a week, I'm done cooking for you, you're going to cook your own dinner tonight. So he backed up for a minute and decided, well, yes, I can cook my own dinner, I'll cook my own steak. He went to the kitchen, there was no other steaks. There really wasn't any other food. Nothing but a loaf of bread and some cheese, to which I proceeded to tell him, "You can have your cheese toast while we have our steak dinner." He thought about it for a minute, so he went ahead and proceeded to cook it, and I waited on him to come back to the table. Waited, he finally finished up, sat down beside me, and that's when with every bite I proceeded to go, that steak's good. After about the second bite, he started getting a little upset and jealous of it and proceeded to claim that it wasn't fair. I said, "No, son, it's not fair, but that's the way it is. It's not fair that your mother and I have to do all the chores around here and then we have to argue about this. So there's no more arguing. You have a choice." And after that night, didn't have any more problems with him. He pretty much volunteered for the chores. And there wasn't any arguing with his mother for a long time after that either. And it was just about finding, the whole purpose of it was to find the proper motivation without having to lose our cool. We were able to find a way to reach him, to motivate him to want to do his chores without us getting upset or arguing. It solved it pretty quickly. I utilize one of the principles we learned in the Parent Project class, and that is the second lesson we discuss is there is no arguing. by following this process, we didn't argue. We simply just found a way to motivate him. It's one of the many lessons we learned in this class, and we found that our household has become a lot more peaceful and a lot more orderly now that we've been through all 10 weeks.